The Fast and the Furious is the second special from season 36 of The Simpsons. This is directed by Mike Frank Polcino, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And honestly, it was okay to begin with, but then I just found that it felt very repetitive, really monotonous, and really not a good episode. So the first half was okay, and then I just lost interest, probably about the halfway mark. I don't have that many notes, largely because not a lot happens, but there are some okay moments. Lisa is upset at the beginning of the episode because nothing will grow in Springfield, and then there's a daisy that grows. Mr. Burns smushes it. She's distraught. She goes to therapy, and she gets these little tap device things, and it puts her into what she thinks is a dream. But she then realises that she actually travelled back in town into the body of her ancestor. And she learns, I don't think it's a very well written story, to be honest, but she learns that these little moose, the mini moose, went extinct at one point. So if she goes back in time and saves the mini moose from becoming extinct, it could save Springfield and ultimately help things grow. And I feel like the narrative is really weak. I don't think it's a very well written story at all. Even taking the monotony out of the equation, it's still not a well written story. But she goes back and forth and meets with Mr. Burns at the time. Mr. Burns was a lot more gentle and caring at the time. Yes, slightly interesting to see that side of him, but I don't really buy into it either. And ultimately, Mr. Burns does something that's good, and they manage to get flowers to grow in present-day Springfield, and that's basically everything that happens. It is really dull. The only bit that I genuinely liked is the musical number with Lisa and Mr. Burns back in the past. I thought that was pretty good. I quite liked that. The rest of it is very mundane. Obviously, there's a message in this about looking after your environment and making sure you don't get to a point where nothing will grow, because that's not good. But other than that, there's not much I can praise about this. I think it's a very poorly written narrative. The pacing is really dull, by which I mean nothing happens. It's very slow, very boring, very repetitive and monotonous. Visually, the scenes in the past are okay. I guess I quite like the colour palette, but other than that, it's not that interesting to look at. Yes, the design of Mr. Burns as a character is okay, but visually, it's not good enough to save the story. There are certain Simpsons episodes where visually it might be appealing, but the narrative is boring. But with this one, I guess it's fine. The scenes set in the past are okay in terms of the animation and the colour palette, but it doesn't save the story because I found it to be tremendously boring. I didn't really care for it. I don't think The Fast and the Furious is very good at all, and chances are it's probably not an episode I'd ever watch a second time.